Hello, nonfiction readers. I hope that you're having a great week, and I hope that you're becoming more fond of nonfiction reading. I hope that you're really enjoying reading nonfiction books and enjoying this change of pace from our everyday fiction stories. I'll share my screen so that you can follow along. Remember, nonfiction readers are reading to learn. So I have to tell you, it is easier to remember stuff once you have organized it. I really try and stay organized as a teacher. And sometimes when I'm organizing, I need to chunk things into categories. I want you to go ahead and I want you to look, excuse me, at the images that are on my screen and think, how would I chunk these into categories? Or how would I chunk these together? What items go together? And what items do not go together? Think about it for a second. How could you group these or chunk these into groups? How would you organize them? Think for a moment. Well, all of these things are tools, but that doesn't really seem specific enough. I would organize them into two groups: kitchen tools and school tools. Under kitchen tools, I have a spatula, a crock pot, and a bowl. And you'll notice that I can say more about each one of these things. So right here, it's a spatula, sure, but I can say more about that spatula underneath it. The spatula goes underneath kitchen tools. My main idea, that word main idea, of this chunk is kitchen tools. School tools, same thing. My main idea of this chunk or this group is school tools. We have the computer. Okay, the computer belongs under the school tools. But I can say more about that computer. We get on the internet. A paperclip and a marker. Now notice, I could just say these really general and broad, not specific things, or I can say more about each one of these things. Regardless, they still go under that main idea of the section of the chunk of the group that they belong in. I could do it with these items as well. I can organize these items into groups so that I could remember what items I have better. Okay, let me show you what I did. So they're all toys. But how could I remember all these toys in my head? Well, I'm going to make them into two different groups. I have sports balls on one side, a baseball, a volleyball, and a football. And then I have toy blocks on the other side. This group is sports balls, and this group is toy blocks. That's the big idea. That's the main idea of the group. Underneath, I have the things that belong in that group. What does this have to do with reading? Miss Bryce is on another tangent. Well, like I said, the group title is kind of like the main idea. What belongs in that group? What supports the main idea? Kitchen tools would be our main idea. And then all these things would belong underneath it. When we put a spatula, we could just stop there, but it's better to say, what about that spatula, to give even more details, to organize it even further. We want to remember things in nonfiction books by thinking, what are the different categories? By stopping to summarize what we've just read, like we talked about yesterday, and by stopping to organize them into different categories. Today, I want to remind you that readers organize chunks or bits of information in nonfiction books into categories. Sometimes these texts have pop-out sentences or other clues to lead them to big subtopics. That word, subtopic. Let's talk about what that is. A subtopic is a more specific section or chunk of the main idea. It's a more specific part of the main idea. Subtopics help categorize how we break up or organize our information. Subtopics are still supporting details. A subtopic is like a category when we organize. So before, like we saw, this is how it would be organized. The main idea will still go up here. These items are helpful kitchen tools. Then we have the subtopics where they come along. The spatula goes under these items are helpful kitchen tools. But then we get to say even more about that spatula with the supporting details. We say more. Well, a spatula can be used to flip burgers. That's very specific, that supporting detail. And it can help make pancakes. Another subtopic that goes under that main idea would be a bowl. A bowl can hold snacks like popcorn and can be used for mixing. Okay, so see how I organize that, friends? You need to do the same with your books. You can use pop-out sentences and text features to help find subtopics, just like you do for your main idea. Let me show you what our subtopics and our supporting details were like from the other day. I'm sliding back to my example from the other day. So yesterday, when we organized this information, we said gorillas' bodies are adapted for jungle survival. That's the main idea. Then when we organized it, we said their long arms. One whole part talked about their long arms. That's the subtopic. Underneath that, that's when we had even more supporting details about that subtopic. So it all belongs with the main idea, organized under that main idea, but then we can break it up into chunks even further. Their long arms, well, let's say more about it. Their long arms can help them walk and they help them reach food. So their long arms would be like saying the spatula, not very specific, just organizing it. But then after, when we say what the long arms do, that's like when we said what the spatula does. We can organize chunks of our book into the main idea, subtopics, and supporting details. This is a big concept, friends, and we are going to continue practicing this. Now, let's look at The Weird and Wonderful Octopus by Anna Gratz to get a really good idea about how we might do this. Just one moment. Okay, now we have to look and we have to really be thinking about that main idea and supporting details while we're reading. Our mind is on that. All of the strange and wonderful creatures that live in the ocean, one stands out above the rest. It is the amazing octopus. There are over 300 types of octopus, and they can be found in every ocean in the world. The unique body. The octopus has a body unlike any other animal. Its body, called a mantle, is soft and shaped like a bag. The octopus can squeeze itself into very small spaces because it has no bones in its body. Its 8 rubbery arms are attached to its head near its mouth. The octopus's arms are covered with suckers. These suckers help the octopus grab and taste things. The octopus can see very far distances, but it cannot hear anything at all. Well, let's pause right there and summarize what we've read. My main idea is that The octopus is a wonderful creature. The octopus is a unique creature. I could also say that. And so far, one of my subtopics is that the octopus has a unique body. I could say more about that unique body by adding supporting details. Let's keep reading. So far I have my main idea and my first subtopic, the unique body. Now let's take a peek inside. The octopus's body is amazing on the inside too. Along with its stomach and other organs, the octopus has 3 hearts. 2 of its hearts send blood, which is light blue, to its organs for breathing, called gills, on 2 of its arms. The 3rd heart sends blood to the rest of the body. When the octopus breathes in, water comes out through its gills and fills its body. When the octopus breathes out, the water comes out of the tube called a siphon. Okay, so we have my main idea. Then we have my subtopic, the unique body. Another subtopic would be a peek inside. I could say more about that peek inside underneath with my supporting details. Protecting this amazing body. The amazing octopus has many ways to defend itself from predators. When an octopus wants to move quickly to escape a predator, it can shoot water out of its siphon and push itself backwards. This is called jet propulsion. Using this technique, octopuses can travel many miles. An octopus can also protect itself from squirting ink at its predator. An octopus can also protect itself by squirting ink at a predator, causing it to become blind and lose its sense of smell temporarily. So we have my main idea. The octopus is an amazing creature, or the octopus is a unique creature. You can put it in your own words. Then I have my first subtopic, the unique body. Under that subtopic, I have supporting details, like the unique body can squeeze itself into small places. The unique body has suckers all over its arm. Then my next subtopic, a peek inside. I could say more about the peek inside of the body. I could say more about that subtopic that's the inside of an octopus's body. My last subtopic could be ways an octopus defends itself. I'd say more through supporting details. I could say that the octopus does jet propulsion. I could say that the octopus squirts ink. Look at what I can do. Look at how I can organize it. My main idea, an octopus has a unique and interesting body. Then my subtopic, one of them is that main body that we talked about. The supporting details would be the body is called the mantle. It has no bones so that it can squeeze into places. There are suckers all over the body. Notice how these things are specific. We need to think, when we're thinking of subtopics, what are the bigger categories and how do my details fit under them? So the main idea, the big idea, is that an octopus has a unique and interesting body. That's what goes on my hand. Then my first subtopic would be the main body. The body is called the mantle. That's a subtopic. That's more specific, a more specific thing about the main idea, the main body. Again, a quick way to organize while you're reading and a quick way to help you remember is by doing main idea, subtopic, 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 subtopic. And then under there, you can remember the supporting details. So what if there are no headings? What if you see something like this? Well, you can make them yourself. That's what we do when we organize, right? All of our subtopics are basically headings for what that little section is going to be about. Again, we can use this to help organize our reading, especially if there aren't headings and our text looks like this. So to learn from expository text, these are things we do while we're reading expository text. We pause after a chunk to grasp the main idea and supporting details. If there are no subtitles, chunk your text for yourself. Find the main idea, maybe in a pop-out sentence, and then organize it a little bit further into those subtopics and details. This is a big task, friends. Your main focus is that you are finding the main idea and then chunking the rest of your information into subtopics and supporting details.